Hi everybody, I'm Laura from SmARTy Pants Rockford Kids Art Studio, and we're here doing a play date with you today. I'm here at my studio. No one else is here because everybody else is stuck at home, but all my supplies are here, so I'm here to do this for you guys. Here's our information at SmARTy Pants. In case you haven't heard of us, we're located in downtown Rockford. That's our logo. We do classes for kids every Saturday morning, we do summer camps, and we also do classes for adults. Okay, so I have a few projects I'm going to do, but this first video is going to be making a face out of paper. So here's a couple examples that I made. There's one example there. And another example here. So I'm going to walk you through how you can do this. You can make your face however you like, and it's going to be fun. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to find some kind of a harder backed surface. Like this is a piece of corrugated cardboard. You could cut up a box. If you had some foam core, that's what those are on. You can use that, or just a stiff piece of paper. That gives you a little more support for the 3D face here. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to decide on what kind of background color you want to have. So you can use a variety of different papers, regular construction paper, any type of colored papers. The thinner paper is good for the background, but for the face itself, you're going to want to use a little bit thicker paper like a construction paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue my thinner paper down. I think I'm going to use a glue stick. What we need for this project is paper, glue sticks, glue, scissors, and some sort of a marker, like it could be a Sharpie or it could just be a regular Crayola marker. So when you're gluing paper down, you're going to want to make sure that you get the edges. That's the most important part. So I'm going to glue the edges down here. We don't have to put a million tons of glue on, kids. All right, I'm going to put it right up to the edge of this. Press it down, and then I'm going to overlap this next piece so I don't have to cut it. And if you end up with a really big piece of board, you can always cut it before you start putting paper on it, or you can cut it after you're done. So I'll put this right here, and then, oops, that's crooked. Oh well. And then I'm going to put some at the bottom. Now, that bottom's kind of skinny, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and cut this piece of paper in half. I can get a nice line by just simply folding my paper in half long ways. And that way, I don't have to do it later. All right, so I'll just put some of this here. This, I'm doing this a really fast version for you today. That. And then I'll put a little bit here to cover this part. Like so. Now, if you have any overlapping, you can simply turn over your board and cut off a little bit of overlap. Like that. Something like that. Okay, so now I got my background color. Okay? Now I have to decide what color I want the face to be. So I think today I'm going to make a yellow face. So I'm going to take a regular size sheet of construction paper, and this piece is a little bit too wide for the face, so I'm going to want to cut a little bit of this off. So if you have a ruler or something to help you cut a straight line, you can use that. I have a little T-square here, but if you don't, it's really easy to get a straight line. All you need to do is kind of fold it and make sure the corners are straight until you get it as thick as you want. That's how big my face is going to be. And this is my extra. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off the extra bit. Like so. Boy, these are not the best scissors. Maybe I should get a different pair. Anyhow, so now this is going to be my face. So what we're going to do is we're going to end up putting the face like this, right? So the first thing we're going to do is about a 1/2 inch on each side. We're going to make a fold like that. Try to get it straight if you can. See the fold? And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. This will give us something to glue down, okay? See, it looks like that. So when we put it here, it'll be glued like that. And I could glue it right now, but before I glue it, I'm going to do a couple other things in an easier way. So the first thing I'm going to do is figure out what kind of hair I want. So I'm going to go ahead and set this down. And I think my guy is going to have purple hair today. Purple hair. Okay, so I'm going to take the piece of construction paper long ways like this, and I'm going to cut it in about half. It doesn't matter if your line's straight or not. See, like that. And then I'm going to make a little fold about 1 inch from the bottom. You can see that. It's kind of weird lighting in here today. Like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut strips of hair here, but I'm not going to cut past my fold. So starting from the top, not the folds at the bottom, starting from the top, I'm going to cut some strips down. So like so. Trying to do this really fast today, so bear with me. All right, come on here, one more. Okay, so what I can do is I can make them kind of curly-Q by kind of bending them a little bit. So I can bend some of the hairs. I don't have to bend all the hairs. Kind of like this. Just doing a little bit of bendy. You can have them bended multiple times or just one time. Okay, now my hair is all crooked and bendy, you see? All right, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to glue it on the inside of my headpiece so that when I glue it onto the paper, it'll be there already. So I'm going to take my glue stick and glue right on that part that I folded. I can unfold it now. And unfold it and just put some glue in there. Okay? Depending on how long you want your hair to be, you can either put it towards the top of the paper, or you can go further down if you want your hair to be shorter. I'm going to go about right here. I'm going to glue that right in the middle of the paper. Now make sure the flaps are sticking up when you do that, okay? All right, so now I got it like this. You see? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold down my flap, and I'm going to put the glue on the flap only, on one side, and then I'm going to do it on the other side. You can also use regular Elmer's glue if you like. It's a little more sturdy, but for today I think I'm just going to use this. Okay? Now I'm going to do flaps down, and I'm going to curve it up a little bit so that it's kind of circular. And then I'm going to stick my hands inside here like this and push the flaps down. Just like that. So now it's sticking up like that. You see that? There, we got a head and we got some hair. And once you get it up there, if you want to twist your hairs a little more, you can. Just be very careful. You try not to move this around too much because we want it to dry, okay? Now with our little bit of leftover color here, we can cut some ears out. Most people have ears, hopefully. Got ear number 1, and I'm going to glue ear number 1 right there. And then I got ear number 2. Ooh, might be a bigger one. Ear number 2. Flip that over there. Put my glue on it. And glue it right here. Okay, now I have a head with hair and ears, you see? Now the next thing I need to do is I need to give it a neck, and I want it to have pretty much the same color neck as that face. That's usually how it works. So if you have enough with your piece here, you can do that, or if you don't have enough, you can find another piece of construction paper, and you can cut out a neck. It doesn't have to be very super long. I'll make mine about. You might want to make sure you make it wide enough so that his little head wouldn't topple over. So I cut mine out like that, and then I'm going to glue that right here, you see? So the neck sticks out from underneath the head. So it's got to go a little bit underneath where the face is sticking out. Like that. And right in the middle of the space. You see, now I have a head and a neck. See that? All right. Now, the next thing I'm going to do before I put his shirt and stuff on him is I'm going to make a nose. So I'm going to take some of my leftover yellow. Generally, a nose is about the same shade as the face. And I'm going to cut a thin strip. Like, kind of about like this. So I'm going to go a long, thin strip. Long, thin strip right up the side, okay? And we're going to fold this to be our nose. And this might be a little long, but we can adjust it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our thing and we're going to put the nose like this, and we're going to plan it out. So before we glue it, so we're going to have a little part that sticks out. So I'm going to find out how long I want my nose. Maybe I don't want mine quite that long. Let's see, because I need room for my mouth too, don't forget. So my nose is going to be about this long. I'm going to make a little fold. And then I'm going to make another little fold about a ½ inch away from that fold. And that way, it kind of comes like this, you see? So wherever this comes, you see how this part meets this part? Then I'm going to go ahead and cut it right there. Cut like that. So then I'm going to take the bottom part of my nose and put some glue on it so it sits like that, okay? So now, I've got my nose here. Oops. Like so. I got it on my face here. Pushing from the underneath, I can press it together very gently, okay? So it looks like this right now. Make sure you can see that. And then, at the very top of this part, I'm going to put a little bit more glue, like that. And then I'm going to press it here at the top of the nose by putting my hand underneath very gently, just for a second. And now I have a nose. You see how it sticks out? There we go. Now we have a nose for our face. You see that? Okay, the next thing we need to do is decide what color eyes this person's going to have. So mine's going to have blue eyes today. So you can make the eye shape. I'm making mine kind of like a football shape today, even though eyes really aren't a football shape. I'll make some little football shapes. Here's number 1. If you want to draw them first before you cut them, you can do that. But I'm just going to cut mine. Okay, 2 eyes. They're not exactly the same, but no ones are they? This one might be a little big. I'm going to trim this guy down a little bit. Okay, now I got my eyes. So I got to decide where they go. I take my glue stick. Put it right here. Pressing underneath just to touch it a little bit. Very gently. And put this eye here, very gently. Okay? 2 eyes. And now I'm going to make some lips. I'm going to use this fun paper I have that's kind of pinkish. I'm going to cut out a lip shape. You can make a sad face or a happy face or big pouty lips or a circle like, oh, like that. However you want. Kind of made this guy pretty big, so I'm going to trim him down a little bit. A little lip shape there. This is kind of a generic lip shape, mouth shape. My glue on there. That right here. Now I have a mouth. See? Now I want to have eyebrows. I probably want my eyebrows to be about the same color as my hair. That's how it usually works. So I'm going to take some leftover from my hair color. I'll cut 2 little eyebrows. You can experiment on this. You know, you can make a couple different ones and they can all have a different facial expression. So here's my little eyebrows. Go ahead and put those on. Once again, I'm going to hold underneath it just to press it very gently. Whoops, this eyebrow fell into his eyeball. Okay, eyebrow number 1. This is eyebrow number 2. Okay, now it looks like this. Eyebrows, ears, nose, and mouth, and hair. So, the last thing I need to do as far as paper goes is I need to decide what he or she is wearing. I think mine's a boy. So, I'm going to pick out a color for a shirt. I think I'm going to go with a nice red shirt today. And you can make it, ooh, that's a big piece. You can make it, here, I'm going to take a smaller piece. You can make it decorated or whatever you like. So, the first thing I'm going to do is cut some shoulders. If we have, our shoulders are a little rounded. So, cut some rounded part here on the edges. Okay. I'm not cutting the bottom off yet because I don't know how big I need it. So, I can see that I have my shoulders. And then I think I'm going to make a kind of a scoop neck for his neck. Scoop neck style. Okay. Now you see it's got a little scoop neck. Now at this point, we can kind of guess how big it's going to be. So I'm going to cut the extra off. Or you can glue it on first and cut it off afterwards. That's fine too. I still might have some to cut off here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue my shirt on. See, I have a little extra to cut off. So I'll do that. Do that on there. And then, since I have a little extra, I can cut that off. Now, if you want to, you can make some kind of decoration on it. Like you could put some stripes on it, you could put dots on it, flowers. You could draw on it if you wanted to. So just for fun, I'll put a few stripes on mine. So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. You could put a necklace if you want to. You can either do some of it with paper and some of it with markers or both. Okay, so I'm just going to put a couple little stripes on his shirt just for fun. Like this. Now another thing you can do is you can also put earrings on the ears. So you can cut like a little piece earring shape and you can have that be on the ears if you want to, like kind of like this. I'm not going to do that on this guy right now because I don't think he has any earrings. But so this is basically almost done. There's one more thing I'm going to do, and that's what I'm going to use my marker for. I'm going to take my Sharpie here, and I'm going to draw some pupils. Color those guys in. If you want to, you can make some eyelashes. So very carefully. If you need to hold it, you can hold it very carefully from underneath. okay? Made a little eyelashes on this guy. And you can draw like a line on his mouth if you want, okay? And you can also do something like draw the inside of the ear, like this, like that. And if you want to, you could, you know, draw something on the shirt. And there we basically have our person made out of paper. The last thing every artist does before they put their piece away is to sign it, and I usually sign mine in the lower right-hand corner, just like that. And that is our finished product. I hope you all had a lot of fun making this with me today, and stay tuned, we're going to have more of these.